chat. But we have an employee that is going through the university here that is for the Maharishi University, and she's studying Ayurvedic medicine. And, you know, we were just chatting the other night, and what's the practice called? What do they call it when it's the self-massage?
They call it, oh my gosh, I was just talking about it earlier.
Anyway,
yeah.
there's a name for this, and then basically they
Abhyanga.
do Abhyanga. So they do like kind of like a self-massage, like how you would apply lotion, but you know, you spend a little extra time and, you know, mixing essential oils with the carrier oils, and not so much to treat, like say you had a bad back or something, but you just, you know, you're mixing oils in to strengthen the body or to purify the skin, or so that blood purification would work really super good for that. You know, after that employee kind of, her name's Jessica, so I'm just calling her Jessica. So when Jessica told us about that, we started kind of experimenting with it. And, you know, I did it with like mugwort first, and that felt really good. And I did it with sage, and boy, I noticed that like I've only done it a couple of days in a row, and it was non-specific. I wasn't trying to treat anything. I was just covering the body with the massage oil and the essential oil. And, you know, I got about 25 or 30 drops of the oil all over my body, and you know, really rubbed the feet and everything. And I'm noticing just in 2 days, I'm more alert when I get up in the morning. I kind of jump out of bed, and my body's not achy. You know, I've had a lot of broken bones and injuries when I was young, and so, you know, I have areas that, you know, they just ache as you get older, and, you know, they don't really bother me too much, but that I'm very aware of them. You know what I mean? And I was doing some today. I was like, I'm not even thinking about my achy spots. You know, several of them were supposed to have surgery to correct what was wrong with them, and so, you know, they're that severe. And so that was like 35 years ago, and we just never did. I just like, you know, I'll live with it. If it gets really bad, I'll do something about it. And you know, just doing that. Abhyanga, is that what it is? You know, you just kind of cover the whole area, and you know, it just takes like 10 or 15 minutes, and God, the body is feeling good. Like that, and a salt bath is, man, it is very, very nice. So blood purification would be good for that. Mugwort would be good for that. You know, any of the ones that are for relaxing muscles or lymphatic function, you know, joint relief. The one that I'm playing with, which it sounds weird, but Arthrocare, just because, you know, you can get calcium deposits in tissues, not necessarily in joints. And so I was just trying to break up any sort of deposits that are in the tissues and stuff. And man, I gotta say, it feels really good, really, really good. We were able to get, lovage is really super hard to get. And we were able to allocate about 4 kilos of it, which is just like unheard of. And so I've started putting that in some of the joint, like the Arthrocare and things like that. And it's really super good for detoxified kidneys and uric acid and things like that, that are the precursors to arthritis in the body. So very good detoxifier, very good for accumulations of like fluid and just lymphatic matter and things like that. And so, yeah.
Hey, Greg, Cindy.
Hey,
Evening.
Cindy.
Hey, by the way, thanks for the dissecting cellulitis suggestions. It's really helping.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, is it? Okay, like, so do you mind sharing like what you did?
Well, I mean, I put, yeah, fennel, geranium, birch, which smells amazing, by the way. It's,
yeah.
Yeah. I have it written down here, and for different reasons. lemon,
Yeah,
and I put lavender.
Oh, that sounds like a great blend. Yeah.
In the seaweed, and then gel, and then gave it to him. I only got I just gave it to him Sunday because I didn't get all the oils until Saturday. So yeah, he's saying it's really, really helping with the pain and the skin.
Tremendous. Yeah.
So
yeah, the thing that's like, the fennel and the lemon, it thins the blood and helps kind of release the fascia and the tissue a bit, and the fennel is helping to remove accumulations and things in the joint, and the lavender is soothing and takes down the body tension, and then the birch it's a really amazing, because it has such a strong pain relieving property to it, but it also deals with accumulations as well. So excess fluid or inflammation, any sort of extra fluid or stagnant fluid in an area or in joint, which most times in injury, that's what you're dealing with. And so to have that and pain relieving properties to it, I mean, it's really invaluable. It's going to be interesting. Like I said, I'm going deep on a bunch of these different plants, and out of Australia, we're getting, they're calling it birch tar. And so I'm thinking it's probably like a resinous form of birch, which could be more potent. And so when we get that, we'll have to play with that with the seaweed. I think that could be a really phenomenal 1-2 punch, because the seaweed is so detoxifying, which is, I mean, a brilliant carrier, to be honest with you. Like, I really think that's a super smart carrier. And then to add those other things like that has to be a very fast detoxification of that area, reduce that inflammation in the fascia and everything, and really jumpstart fluids moving in that area. Because a lot of times with that, the lymph nodes and the lymphatic movement in the area has just like shut down. It's completely done. And so, you're using all those oils to jumpstart it in a way that's very gentle. So, yeah, I'm glad that he's getting results. Yeah, good job on that.
Well, you helped. And so that gives me a couple of questions. And the first one is I would use I thought to use the birch, and then also the one for the joints and the muscle injuries too. So that would probably sore.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
And would fascial release work in that as well?
For his cellulitis, or for the joints?
For the joints and
for the joints, yes. For the cellulitis, probably not. Like your combo is, I mean, I'd stick with that. You might have to adjust it as the body changes. He'll tell you, because he'll just say it's not working as good as it was, and you'll just have to adjust a little bit. Sometimes you don't, and sometimes you do. And so, as the body changes, you just keep that fluid moving, detoxifying, and the pain relief going in that area. And that should get better, like substantially faster.
When you said that you used like 24 drops, how do you know how much to use it when you're creating?
Oh, when I was doing like a self-massage, I was just doing like 4 or 5 drops at a time, and then I'd cover an area. And I mean, I could have done more if I wanted to, but I was trying to keep it around like 20, 25, and I probably was more like 25 or 30, but.
But I know a lot of people are making, blends or putting it in carrier oils. How do you know how much you should put of each oil into?
Oh, I see. Okay, so you remember when I was coming in person before COVID, and I would give you those little packets of the empty bottles? What you could do?
I wasn't part of it.
Oh, okay. We'll send you a package off with one of those kits. It's just some empty bottles. So you blend it all together, and then from there, then you mix it up, and then from there you would take and you would put however many drops you needed into your blend. So I'd make like a master blend, and then from there add the drops to the.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah, Yeah.
And then how many? Yes.
Yeah.
It's
And then that way you can
worth
tailor it. Like if you want 17 drops, you're not having to manipulate your blend. And so, yeah.
That's really smart. All right, thank you. I don't want to take
For
everyone's
that little project that you know we have going with the seaweed and everything, I'll send you some little things that you can blend in, and we make that for Cindy, and we'll send her off a couple of those little packages.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we'll get something off to you tomorrow.
Oh, sweet. Thank you. See you.
So, anybody else have a question or comment or anything?
Hi, Greg. This is Cassandra.
Hey, how are you?
Good. I am enjoying all these questions and information. I just looked up the blood purification, and what was the main? Because I see that it's a pretty pricey price tag there.
Yeah, it's the reason why it's so pricey is the clover. The clover is really super hard to get and really expensive.
Okay, well that's good to know. And I think I have a question, and I'm not sure, so I'm going to try.
So if you're just wanting to do some basic blood purification, like, you know, you don't have to go like crazy. I mean, that's like the fancy, like is strong, you know, starting to get as strong as it gets. But just to go through and do general, like blood purifying, you know, still things like parsley works really good. Celery works really good. You know, and they're not expensive at all. I mean,
yeah, I love the parsley.
I take parsley baths all the
time.
You
know, I remember, and I did want to ask you about that actually. When, for those of us who order or go through, we start to gravitate to certain oils, and sometimes like the parsley, do you offer that in a bigger size?
Yeah, you can email it. Sometimes we put them on the site, and sometimes people just will want a bigger size of that. And so let us know, and we can do whatever size you want. And
because something like that's not terribly expensive, I don't think, and it's like lemon comes in a bigger bottle. I like that.
Yeah.
You know, like some of them more common every day, like our daily.
Right. Like that's one we have in a big bottle in the by the bathtub, because it's, you know, there's like 4 or 5 that I use a lot in baths, and parsley is one of them. I love me a parsley bath.
And I do have a question about me personally. I had the second, is that okay? The second detached retina, and I have been using the drops like crazy. The good news is the surgery took no detachment. The weird thing is, and the doctor just says be patient, because I've gone back like just a few days ago, but it's like I still can't see. But when I say I can't see, it's like saran wraps on top of my eye, almost like the cornea or something. Maybe got a little abrasion.
Yeah, I'm with him. Is he okay with you putting drops in your eyes, like the saline solution?
I'm using yes, I'm using the Refresh, the disposable without the preservatives, using those all throughout the day, and then using an ointment at night, like a PM that he said, like, in other words, it's just the typical over-the-counter stuff. So yes, that's what he told me to do, and he just told me to be patient.
Yeah, keep your, because the thing that makes eyes heal faster is keeping them wet.
Okay.
Like, you know, you want to just like, you know, multiple times a day be hitting it with that saline solution. And I keep them. Just keep doing that. If you want. It's just a
little scary, you know, because
it should come back. Like I've had several patients
good to know.
have that, and then it's come back. So I'm with him. Like, you know, it's a surgery, so you never know. But at the same time, I've seen many people come back from that. And so it's just like, you know, it's the nerves sometimes are a little affected, or, you know, there might be a little bit more of a healing going on in a particular area. So if you keep it wet, if you want to take something internally to help with the eye moisture, is go to the health food store and get, I'd get it in capsules rather than in a tincture, but I would get Shazandra, which is SCH. Yeah. So drink a bunch of that, like, you know,
I think it's in a T, or at least it's like in T. It's something like, and the only reason why I remember it's Sandra, like Cassandra, but it's SCH or SHR something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Drink like many cups a day, or like 4 to 6 capsules a day, because what that does is it helps to keep the mucous membranes moist.
Okay.
I mean, it does a bunch of things, but that's one of them. And so, I did not know. And the people asking about things for eyes is always a common thing with essential oils. And I did find some writing actually. If you use lovage, if you take lovage internally, it can be good for the eyesight. They didn't say what condition, and we haven't played with it enough to know, but my guess is because of the effects on the kidneys and the detoxifying component of it. For that, it's the root or the leaf, and the leaf is cheaper than the root. Like it's almost like half the price. And so I would actually, honestly, if you wanted to go down that route, I would just use the leaf and take 2 or 3 drops a day internally in some water. And that should also potentially help with the eyesight. I don't have a lot of clinical data in front of me that says this is what it did, but the reference that I got was a French physician. So, I mean, he's doing medical aromatherapy. So, he's treating conditions. He didn't write very much about it, but he did write something about, that it helped with sight. So.
So your suggestion was to take the black cumin oil, and I don't have the essential blend. I just have what I bought at the health food store, the little capsules, and then I have a liquid. Sure. And I've been taking like my mono pure or whatever, the fish oil, like whatever oils. Yeah, so I've really been trying to do that. But I said, let me just ask you if there's anything else. Yeah. And I didn't. And so the lovage is the oil that I can get. And then the Shasandra, whatever
Shasandra, like sometimes we actually have an oil of it, but we haven't ordered it for a while. We have a little tiny bit, but honestly, for what you're using it for, I would just get the herbs from the health food store.
Okay.
Or drink your tea. I don't know that you need to really bombard it with. I'd rather see you take lovage than the Shasandra and just do the tea or capsules. Yeah.
But the lovage, I can do the leaf because it's cheaper, and I can order the oil.
It's cheaper, and honestly, I don't know. It's probably 80 to 85% as effective for joints and things, and for the eyes, from what I could tell, it looked about even. And so there's no reason for you to spend the money on the root. Okay, and I really appreciate this information. I never know what, I know all of us never know when we're going to need something. And it's really appreciated when everybody shares their questions. I appreciate it. I agree. Because you kind of learn from everybody else's kind of issues and problems. And what we're trying to do this year is, with conditions, we're trying to, instead of making it part of a class, we're trying to make these little booklets where it's just about the condition, and it can be, a very simple approach that you go to treat it, or an involved approach that's just protocols very specific to the condition. But we're also trying to add like herbs and vitamins, and if there's yoga or a breathing exercise, just other things other than just what we're doing, so that it's kind of a comprehensive way to treat a particular condition. And so we're trying to make it more so that it can be integrated into somebody's lifestyle, or you have especially when it's some sort of chronic condition, you have multiple things that you can do rather than just going, oh, I can do this one thing. It's a way to kind of empower people to be able to self-treat and come at it from a lot of different angles. So thank you. Yeah, the brainwave stuff, we're going to probably integrate into it as well. Originally, because here's the other thing with Zoom. It really accelerated the rate that we could give information. And so we weren't even going to talk about brainwaves until next year. I had charted out all these things that we were going to do, But because of Zoom, we can cover all these classes so quickly that, you know, we're just laying out the curriculum actually pretty quickly now. So.
Well, thank you all.
Yeah.
Very appreciative.
Yeah. Keep us posted on how the eyes are doing though. Look,
I will.
I'm curious about a follow-up. Yeah.
I will. And the de-stressing part this weekend, I'm looking forward to.
Yes.
And I think that's part of the healing process. Yeah. So that was part of my plan.
Stress is always it's always there. Even like emotionally, mentally, I won't feel stressed. And then physically, my body's wiped out.
I don't know if you saw this, but I passed part of my enrolled agent exam yesterday for taxes. So I'm in two different worlds, you know, from the tax side on the analytical side. And I've got 2 more parts to go. So I'm hoping to be done by the fall. So I have to switch between what I love and kind of what I feel like I have to do, you know, as part of my job. And so
congratulations,
that's why I'm always trying to. Thank you. Even with all of this, unbelievable, 2 surgeries, and still I pulled it off. I pulled it off with the help of the angels. I'll tell you that. That I really did. They were there for me, and hopefully they'll be there for me again in a couple of weeks. And then when I'm done with all this, hopefully I can help or volunteer my time in some way to help with anything that you guys need, you know, since so much work is being done remotely, because I love it. I just love this information.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Good. Well, good luck for that. Yeah, that you were able to pull all that off with all that eye stuff going on.
But it's boring. It's taxes. So.
Yeah, it's okay.
But, oh well.
And Peggy, your hand's raised, and Laura as well.
Hey, Miss Peggy.
Hello. I have a page full of notes, so I too am profoundly grateful for all the information that's shared. And I got some lovage a couple months ago, but it doesn't say root or leaf. So I trust
that one's the root. That one's the root.
Because it doesn't say on there, so I just kind of wondered. And
we're differentiating. The leaf was really hard to get, so we never put the leaf on it. So if it just says lovage, it's the root. But we're going to label it now root and leaf. So.
Well, and this other question, a local big insurance medical like Kaiser, I should probably not drop names, but one person received a special notice and it said, do not take oils internally. And the other person said, they didn't say anything to me about, the first one was getting emails and they sent her an email and said, don't take any essential oils internally. And the other person said, I didn't get any message. Why would that company send one person and not the other? Nothing, no news in reference to that. Okay, totally non sequitur then. For those of us who aren't in a position to get the kit this week, will there be alternatives that we can use for the brainwaves and things?
We have a couple international people who are in the same boat.
Yeah, so. We have some international people that we won't be able to get it to them in time. So we'll be able to make adjustments.
Okay, I'm so excited. Thank you for letting me in and all that you guys share. Thank you, Samantha, too. Thank you.
Laura?
Hey, Laura.
Hey, Greg. Hey, Samantha. You mentioned, I've heard you mention parsley several times for blood purification and baths. What are some of your other favorite ones for baths and why?
I like to take a chakra root cleanser bath just because it's deeply cleansing and it stimulates the lymphatic system.
How much would you put in?
Like 12, 15 drops.
Okay.
I love to take sage baths. They're kind of, they're soothing, they're anti-inflammatory a bit, and they are kind of strengthening to the body when the body's been worn down, but without like being stimulating. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of fortifying, but not, you know, if you've been in a lot of pain for a while or traveling or not sleeping good or just you've been pushing, you know, your body's kind of getting worn a little bit. And so, you know, they would say that sage treats depression, but what it's really treating is physical fatigue, because physical fatigue, when you're pushing and you're kind of overdoing a little bit, it will turn into a little bit of a depression or melancholy. And so sage is really good for keeping that offset. You know, it's good for reducing stress and things of that nature. It's also considered a cure-all. So I mean, it does a lot of things for the body.
Same thing, 12 to 15 drops?
Yeah, 12 to 15. I mean, there was one time where I was feeling really kind of horrible. And I mean, I think I put 30 drops of sage. You know, you can't do that with a lot of oils because they'll irritate the skin. Did it with sage, and man, when I got out, I felt like a new person. So I like to do that. You know, just keeping it simple. Like I also like to take marjoram baths. Just because of the antispasmodic kind of property. If I'm feeling like I'm having a hard time winding down, I'll do spikenard or vetiver.
Say that again, spikenard or what?
Or vetiver.
Okay.
Yeah, vetiver. And I do like to take helichrysum baths. Just for the anti-inflammatory property, and always a big fan of mugwort as well. Like I like to take a mugwort bath sometimes.
Perfect. Thank you.
If I'm feeling super fancy or like I'm trying to really rest over a weekend or something, which you know doesn't happen often, but if I know I'm going to rest the next day, is that I do take like a poplar bath. Like I'll put about 12 drops of poplar in there. You know, it's a little bit of an expensive oil, but man, it just knocks me out. And so I usually have a real restful day, and then I come back ready to go, you know, in a day or so.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're so welcome.
We had someone say they're traveling, they want any referrals for essential oils for a salt bath. And then they said their skin tends to be a bit sensitive with the salt bath. Make it so the oils aren't caustic to their skin. Yeah,
like so I would probably stick with like probably sage or lavender. Lavender is another one that's real good, and if your skin is getting sensitive, it shouldn't, but it will help you relax, and it's kind of fortifying to the body. Sage again is another one. When I travel, I also like to travel with marjoram, just because of, you know, you're carrying bags or you're in a room that might be like a little too cold. Like, you know, sometimes in hotel rooms, they'll crank the air conditioners and you might be prone to get cramps. And the marjoram really helps reduce the cramping. And so those are good three. Tarragon is always soothing to the stresses of traveling, and you could just inhale that, you know. That one is a little bit irritating to the skin if you put it on directly. So you could put a couple of drops in water and drink it, or just inhale it from the bottle. Think of it as like kind of your rescue remedy when you're traveling and you're getting agitated or stressed. That's pretty good. And then probably hyssop, like, you know, a good hyssop just to deepen the breath. And you know, if you bump yourself or something, you can put it on the area. It cuts down the pain and the bruising a bit. You know, it's a real inexpensive way to, yeah. We're going to unfold, I'm in the process of writing it, but like kind of make up a good little travel kit, you know, based on, you know, a handful of oils. And so all the different applications and things. But.
And then a quick question, is blood purifier the same as blood purification?
Yeah, sometimes I can't remember what I wrote. So my people here who help me with the labels, they're very good at doing what I write. It's just sometimes I forget if I wrote purifier or blood purification or whatever, so.
And is the Sacred Fire class okay for someone with kidney failure?
Yeah, I can't think of like how I can't think of why it wouldn't be. You're not taking anything internally. Yeah, it should be okay. Yeah. Are you on? Is the person on dialysis or?
The person I've discussed her with you, it's Miriam.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. Is she on dialysis?
No, but they're looking at kidney replacement.
Yeah, I think it'll be okay, but I'll look at it tonight after we get done, and if there's something different than what I just said, I'll reach out to you.
Okay, thank you.
Perfect. You know, Miriam, I was going to call you up and tease you. Did you see that they busted up a basement nightclub kind of close to where you are?
No, I didn't know.
And I was like, going, Miriam, are you like got a little nightclub action going, or?
Yeah, no.
They were getting 100 people in a house basement, and they had like a waiter, and the kitchen was serving food, and
missed that one.
Maybe it was
yeah, it was in North Andover.
Yeah.
What
have you been reading?
It was on CNN.
Oh. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm gonna look for that.
Yeah.
Let's see.
In the rose kit, are there different uses for the different rose oils?
Yeah, the different roses, you know, they have different components to it. The Rose Alba is the only rose that activates the heart and the crown. The Damascus rose is a little bit better at transmutation. The other rose is very good for integration. And then the Rose Absolute is just a good general, you know, it's still expensive, but it's an inexpensive for roses. So yeah, the auto is very good for the integration. So yeah, we are going to have a frankincense kit because we've run down some new frankincenses,
and just so you guys know, if you get a kit, Greg puts a protocol with each kit, so you can have that for yourself or people you share it with. So it's kind of special. You order the kits.
Yeah, we're trying to do that with sage too. Run down a bunch of different sages, and you know, it's fun having different plants from different areas, slightly different variations. So, any other questions that you guys have?
Are there any specific books you recommend for medical aromatherapy? I did let them know that Christy is really good with knowing that stuff too.
Mm-hmm. Medical aromatherapy, a good reference is by a French physician named Valnet. I think it's just called the Practice of Aromatherapy. Valnet, V-A-L-N-E-T. And then kind of a good like entry to like middle ability. It's not super advanced. Is again a thing called the Aromatherapy Workbook by Lavabre, L-A-V-A-B-R-E, I believe. And then I'm always also a super big fan of Kurt Schnaubelt. Schnaubelt is S-C-H-N-A-U-B-E-L-T. Yeah, we're going to be talking a little bit more about the oils this year and properties and how to just do simple treatments for things. And so I'm going to bring people in from the medical aromatherapy field, and it will be more than just me talking with you guys about it. So we're going to try to give you other points of view on how to treat things as well. So we're trying to really build on what we did last year and just keep the ball rolling and keep the education coming out with you for you guys.
What is 4 seeds blend good for?
Digestion. 4 seeds is for digestion and assimilation. It's an old French formula. Yeah, it's for digestive issues.
And I wrote down the names for you guys for the those French aromatherapists, and are any of their books probably okay?
Yeah, the one that I use a lot is Valnet. I use Valnet's book quite a bit. You know, he's a doctor, so I mean, he just gets right to the point. He doesn't really dilly-dally with stories and things. He just gets right to the treatments of things.
Greg, Cindy again. Sorry about that.
Hey.
You said that you guys had worked on COVID protocols.
Mm-hmm.
Did you work on one for people having reactions to the vaccine?
Yeah, I could. You know, I actually had, not for COVID, but many years ago, I worked on babies that were having reactions to vaccines. And it's a really super bad, usually super bad allergic reaction. But to the point where sometimes the allergic reaction causes, you know, severe dysfunction in the body, but there were several children where it actually had caused brain damage.
Yeah, I actually had a student this year that has autism. His dad said he got it after several doses. Well, we can
try. Yeah, we can try, but like sometimes, like with some of those kids, once they had the brain damage, it was hard to undo that. We could get them functioning better, but there were some that we were able to resolve their issue and. But so, there were some that they were just had such a bad reaction that it was just.
Yeah, well, this particular one was in China at the time, and they gave the doses so quickly back to, you know, almost back to back. So what would you suggest if people are having, you know, they're basically the stronger immune system, the more reaction you have, flu-like symptoms, teeth hurting, fatigue. Is there any kind of support that we can create for them?
So one of the things that I would probably do, I mean, I think you have a couple of choices. You know, like right before, during, and even a little bit after, is to really use a lot of Sweet Annie. You know, like on the joints, inhalation, and the skin, taking a salt bath. You know, things like that. And then the other one would be to take internally blue tansy. Blue tansy or German chamomile, something like that. You know, the tansy and the German chamomile make you like more non-reactive. You know, like when, you know, because if you look at an allergic response, or an allergic response is just one of like 4 or 5 different kinds of sensitivities the body can have. And so, you know, a sensitivity means that there's not just a reaction, it's almost like an overreaction or a hypervigilant reaction. And so the Sweet Annie can kind of calm that down. The blue tansy and the German chamomile can calm that down.
Okay, none of which I have, but I can get it.
So if you don't have that, the next thing that I would try is, give them big dosages of the quercetin from the health food store. Like just go get that from the health food store. And there's this herb, Coleus forscoli. Like it's COLEUS like US, I think.
Yeah.
And then Forskolli, something like that. And
Okay.
sometimes they just call it coleus, and sometimes they call it Forskolli. Sometimes the health food store has it, sometimes they don't, but you should be able to find it on Amazon really quick. It is one of the best herbs for allergic reactions. So between that and the quercetin, that's a pretty solid thing to do, and it's something you could access really super quick.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
Yeah. Because if you got somebody who's getting ready to do it, I mean, I'd get something in them immediately, just so they don't have any sort of reaction. You know, I also do that with people who are going through chemo, because 1 in 20 people don't have an enzyme that breaks down the chemo. So, you know, most people can usually break it down and tolerate it and everything, but 1 in 20, they don't have the enzyme to do it. And so they have usually a really super severe allergic reaction that, you know, usually really makes them quite ill, or sometimes it actually is fatal. And so one of the things that I have them do is when they're going through it, I have them, patients who are going through chemo, is I have them not eat like things like nuts and corn and soy, things that, you know, people tend to have allergic reactions to. And it's not because they're not presenting with having allergies at the time, but if they're going through chemo, what can happen is the histamine levels will go up, and things that they're not allergic to will all of a sudden, they'll become allergic to it. And so, you know, we've had people where they've been allergic to something and we treated them, and then the allergy to the substance went away. And so, you know, chemo is one of those things where if they don't have that enzyme, we just kind of almost treat them like they don't have it, so that if they do have a reaction, that it's not fatal. And, you know, it makes them really sick, but they're able to get through it. And, you know, it usually lasts a few days if you've done prevention. But I would almost treat the vaccines in the same way, where, you know, just have the person refrain on things that are potentials for high allergic reactions, you know, anything corn-based, soy-based, and peanuts, just for a little tiny bit. You know, it's not forever, but like, you know, like maybe 2 weeks after the vaccine. And then treat them for the things for the allergies with the quercetin and the Coleus Forskolli. And, you know, just monitor them. And if it's an allergic reaction, it should be fine. You know, sometimes what can also happen is there's a hot batch, and that it doesn't matter. Like, you know, it's a bad batch. But the only thing that I've heard about with the vaccines for COVID has been, seems to be really bad allergic reactions at this point. I don't know that at least they haven't said that they've had a hot batch before. But with kids, they sometimes have hot batches, you know, where the whole batch is just causes a reaction. You know, it's sad, but it happens.
All right, thanks.
Yeah. Keep me posted on that. If something's going on or anything like that, let me know, and let me know if it's critical, you know, because that definitely, timing is everything.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
Because he's married to the guy who's got the cellulitis and the liver issue and everything. So
wow. Yeah. Keep him. Is he having any symptoms right now or no?
He got the second dose this morning, and now he's starting to feel.
Yeah. I mean, probably if you just put him on the quercetin and a little bit of Coleus Forskolli, he'll probably be fine. Yeah. You know, being sick and everything, you know, vitamin C makes us more, the lack of vitamin C, I should say, makes us have the potential for being way more allergic than normal or way more hypersensitive. And vitamin C, we can't store in our bodies for very long. And so our body doesn't produce it. So we have to be consuming it for it to be in our body. And you can almost bank on that if he's not feeling good, he's probably got like a deficiency. You know, it's really super easy to get a vitamin C deficiency, really super easy. I mean, most people walking around have a vitamin C deficiency of some sort, but yeah, like I would just bank on that he has it. And, you know, 2-3 capsules two times a day, and he'll probably start feeling better. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you can always throw a little extra, like 500 milligrams of magnesium in there as well, just to protect the cells and things like that, and reduce spasms. But, you know, that's a good combo.
There's a book with the vitamin C research by an MD. It's called Curing the Incurable by Levy, MD, and how it's used for killing bacteria and viruses, and that human.
And so, Sonia, did they use pure vitamin C or did they use crude vitamin C? Do you know?
They said humans have a genetic problem where they can't make vitamin C.
Mm-hmm. But when they did the study, did they?
So what he said, regular vitamin C or stuff from orange juice and stuff is not particularly effective. He suggested the liposomal form, or L-ascorbic acid. Solgar makes it. You have to look on the back to see if it's the right one, but it's the one with the rose hips in it.
Right. Okay. And was that a European or a American study?
He covers the whole research altogether on how it's used.
I understand. But did that, most of that come out of Europe or out of the US? Do you know?
The research is from every place. I mean, there's so much of it. It's just huge.
Europeans tend to use the crude vitamin C, and Americans tend to use the pure vitamin C, is the reason why I was asking. So, okay. Well, thank you.
The liposomal helps you absorb it and retain it.
Anybody else?
Is the use of stimulating cerebral spinal fluid circulation an approach only for people with brain injury?
No. The thing with cerebral spinal fluid circulation is it's how your brain detoxifies, and it also is how your brain regenerates and functions properly.
What is the association with spiritual lymph?
Spiritual lymph, yeah, it's tied to opening up the spine and spinal cord. And so there's energies that run up and down the spine that it's tied to the function of the lymph. And so in the old days, the osteopaths used to refer to cerebral spinal fluid as spiritual lymph because of how our body processes spiritual energy is kind of not directly tied to cerebral spinal fluid, but it's a big piece of it. Yeah. So, okay. So with that, let's play. So one of the things that we're going to be doing also, we're going to present that pain class in February, and we're revamping it a little bit, make it a little bit more user-friendly and straightforward, and have some more conditions in there rather than just different types of pain. You know, we're going to break it down a little bit more. And so with that, we're also going to be teaching the psychotherapy class, the psychological healing, which we taught a few times last year and right at the end of the year before. But we're going to change it up a little bit. And so if you had that class, I highly suggest that you review it, because the front part is going to be the same, but the back end is going to be a little bit different. And we're going to try to go a little bit more directly after certain kinds of conditions. And so with that, I would like to have you just play with a little bit, going after something that's going on in your life, right? So take a moment and just think about different parts of your life. Think of things that seem unresolved, that are bothering you. You're not going to have to rehash anything or talk about it or explain it, but areas where you wish for healing. So it could be between you and a person. You still have bad feelings for something that happened at work, or because you left a job, or you got a ongoing conflict with a family member, whatever it is. Just kind of write down a couple of situations in your notes, and let's evaluate them real quick, and then let's see what happens. So take a few moments, just really, when you're sitting there thinking about them, sit there and hold them in your heart and just see how they feel. Okay, so hold one in your heart, then hold the next one. Okay, so now you're going to completely let that go. And let's start digging through your oils, and let's find some form of sage. If you have just regular sage, or if you have the Dalmatian sage or the Australian sage, even the clary sage will work. Regular sage would be a little bit more optimal, but even the clary sages will work. Spanish sage, that will work as well. So any of the sages. Okay, now you're not thinking about anything. You're not holding anything in your heart. You're simply just going to begin inhaling, and your awareness is on your brain, the right and left brain. Continue to inhale on your brain. You're using any form of sage. Sage Supreme, yes, it also works as well. The sacred sage also works. Now move your awareness to your lungs. Now, from your lungs, move up to that little area, that little notch between your two collarbones, your throat minor area. We still want to hit the bronchioles. You're still on that throat minor area. Now go down to the liver, the right-hand side, below your ribs. Now move a little bit more to your midline, not quite to the center, below the ribs still, just off to the side. Now go down to your kidneys. Up to the spleen on the left-hand side below the ribs. Down to your navel. An inch and a half below your navel. The bottom of your tailbone, the basic chakra. Okay, now, just with where you're at, think of those same couple negative situations, hold them in your heart, do the same exact thing, and what do you notice? Go ahead and just type it in if you don't mind.
It's more removed.
Okay, you feel more removed, you feel a little bit more distant, right?
Reduced effect, lighter, not as irritating / annoying. They no longer feel like negative situations and detached.
Okay, so we're going to hear different versions of that, right? So this is what I want you to do next. You're still going to use the same oil that you were using, and we're going to do the materialization breath. Now, usually when we're doing the materialization breath, like you would think of a goal or a particular outcome, right? Or if we're doing it like we did over the weekend with the angels, you're sitting and thinking of an angel you're trying to connect with. Here, we're doing this to bring healing to this situation, right? To bring healing to a situation. Now, you would think like, why would I want to bring this into my heart? Well, for one, your heart is going to transmute it and help to let go of it. So that's one. But the other thing is when you're doing the materialization breath, you know, you've got your bottle to your chest and you inhale, you hold your breath, you move up, you exhale, and then you move down, inhale, up, exhale, right? Part of what you're doing is when we have difficulties, when we have obstacles, when we have issues with other people where we're going like this with other people, our lower centers are overactivated, our upper centers are underactivated. So we're holding this situation in the heart, and then we're manually moving the energy from the lower centers to the upper centers. So the upper centers are tied to more virtuous types of actions. The lower centers are tied to more of reactive types of reactions. You know, you're just, you know, doing something that's escalating it, or you're standing your ground, or you're taking a jab back, or, you know, whatever it is. So we want to shift it in us so that we're not entangled. Even if the person stays super upset, we're not entangled with them, right? We can actually disentangle and step away. They could still be upset, and it's like, feel bad for you, but I'm moving on, right? So this is what I'd like you to do, is just whoever the person is or whatever the issue is, the situation, don't think of the end result. Just think of the person or the situation, hold it in your heart, and just take some long, slow, deep breaths with whatever form of sage you were using. Okay, so now hold your bottle to your chest, your head goes down, you inhale, hold your breath, up, exhale. Down, inhale, up, exhale. Down, inhale, up, exhale. Down, inhale, up, exhale. Do about 4 or 5 more. And then just be still and be aware. Keep your eyes closed, just let it incubate. Okay, hold that person, that situation. Again, just hold it in your heart. Keep holding it there. Bottle up to your chest. 8 or 9 materialization breaths. And then just be still. Begin holding that situation, that person in your heart. Keep holding it in your heart. Okay, 8 or 9 materialization breaths. So chin down, inhale, up, exhale. One more time, hold them in your heart. Chin down to your chest. Do 8 or 9 materialization breaths. Just be still. Now, do the second situation. Hold that one in your heart. Okay, bottle to your chest, chin down. Do 8 or 9 materialization breaths with the second situation. Okay, just be still. Okay, so what I'd like you to do is go to your oils and find like tarragon or anise or anise, however you want to say it, Ami Visnaga, poplar, even rue. If you don't have one of those, let us know. Okay, so let's go ahead and have you start inhaling. You're not visualizing anything. Your awareness is simply on your heart. Push through your body to the back heart, the area between your shoulder blades. Move through your body to the back side. Move your awareness back to the front heart, so push forward. Your awareness is on your front heart. Keep your awareness on your heart, but with your awareness on your heart, you're still inhaling, and now your awareness is on the soles of your feet and your front heart at the same time. Your awareness is still on your heart and the soles of your feet. Move your awareness to the palms of your hands. So your awareness is on your front heart and the palms of your hands. Keep your awareness on the front heart and put your awareness on the forehead where the hairline is. Keep your awareness on your front heart and move your awareness to the back head, opposite your eyebrows on the back side. Just be still, be aware, keep your eyes closed. Now look at those two situations and see how they feel. Hold them in your heart, just look at them. See how they feel. Go ahead and unmute yourself if you'd like.
For me, the first one completely disappeared, and the second one was like slipping away, like I couldn't quite, it was trying to slip away. Thank you.
Good, good, good.
A faint blur.
Faint blur. So you notice that already two people are saying almost the same exact thing. So go ahead, somebody else share, you know, either unmute or type it in.
Feels less sharp.
Feels less sharp. Okay, so here's the thing. Why, like, when we have issues going on, why do they continue to bother us, and why do we get triggered by them, right? You know, why does the pattern not break if it's an ongoing situation? You know, basically why, right? You can just look at whatever it is, just why, right? So for one, for us to heal when our body is injured, our body is already wired to heal that issue as long as the damage isn't too severe. Like the body knows how to heal itself. Like if you get a cut, the body goes, hey, I got this. If you get a burn, the body goes, hey, I got this. If you got a broken bone, you know, of course you got to get it set and whatever, but the body goes, I got this. You get an infection, the body scrambles around and goes, okay, I got this. Then it comes to an emotional wound, right? Now, here is what starts to be difficult is we really are wired to be able to process this as well, but we get stuck in our thought processes and we get stuck in the lower emotions, which are physiological emotions. You know, it's the thing we keep talking about. So if you're trying to process and release the content of something, but your body keeps producing this physiological emotion, for one, they kind of don't match. You know, like how you think and feel about it up here is different than down there, you know, in the lower centers. And so as long as that agitation is there, no matter what kind of resolution we come to in the upper centers, the bottom centers go, yeah, I'm still not there yet. You know, I'm still upset. I'm still agitated. I still think it's going to happen again, whatever it is, right? So for one, how do we utilize our energy body, our emotional body's ability to heal? The way that we heal is we have to get it into the heart. So by holding it into the heart in the front side, we're starting to do integration. But if we can get it in and hold it there long enough, what starts to happen is it starts to filter in and go a little bit to the back heart. Then it starts to get transmuted, right? Your heart knows the difference between truth and stories. It knows the difference between truth and the things we make up. It knows the difference between truth and what other people make up. And it knows the difference between higher emotions and lower emotions. Again, higher emotions, you can usually see depth in something. Like, okay, I'm upset right now, but when I calm down, I'll look at this in a different way, right? That is, it still hurts, but you're coming from higher emotions. Lower emotions is whatever's happening right now, it's always going to be this way. It's never going to be anything different. I have to do something about it. I need to make it stop, right? That is lower emotions. That means your body is triggering a physiological response. So you take action to thrive in the environment. It doesn't matter what you think in your head, the body is generating that. So by manually going through and holding it in the heart and moving your head up and down, you're basically starting to take the energy from the lower centers and you're moving it up. So you're manually making it go from lower emotions to higher emotions so that it can be processed, so that you can start to see some depth in the situation. And by holding it in the heart, it's starting to change the dynamic between you and that person or you and that situation. And so even if they're not on board with resolving the situation. If you start to shift, guess what? They start shifting too, whether they like it or not. Might mean they go away, it might mean they come to their senses. I mean, who knows? It's different for different people, right? But the goal is for you to not be as entangled, for you not to be as triggered, for you not to be as traumatized by this, right? And so by going through and doing this, you're doing several things all at once. And you're really, in a way, you're cultivating a form of loving kindness by going through and doing this, because you're shifting out of your lower nature, you're shifting out of your animalistic nature, which is going now into the higher emotions. And now you can say, like, okay, I can come from a place of loving kindness. It might be that I still need to be firm with this person, but I can do it in a way that is still proper, or I can just walk away from this so that we just stop beating up on each other, right? Whatever it is, I can resolve this in a way that's going to reduce the amount of time and reduce the injury for all parties involved, right? You just get to the heart of the matter. Whenever you're in lower emotions, you are not cognitively processing the situation. When you can shift to higher emotions, your mental faculties get to play a role in what's going on. So you can actually now start to think out the consequences of what's happening. What's the thing? Is this even what we're fighting about, or the conflicts about? How important is it? If it's not even that important, let them win. Who cares? You know, there's this saying in business, like, you know, when you're in management, when things aren't important, you can be very, very flexible. When things are super important, that's the time to be very inflexible. You know, it's not that you're always flexible or always inflexible. It depends on what you're dealing with. If it's, you know, somebody showing up 5 minutes late, you know, traffic, storms, COVID, yeah, I get it. You know, you can be super flexible. Somebody stealing $10,000, not that flexible. You know what I mean? So it depends on the topic. But if you do this, you're in a place to where you get to make a cognitive choice rather than just a reaction. You're shifting out of that reactive state, that state that gets triggered, and you're going, okay, I see depth in this situation. I see choices. So you're already starting to heal this particular issue. So when we go through and we start treating the psychological issues, we're going to, instead of making it a whole different class, we're going to revamp the psychotherapy class, and we're going to integrate these pieces. So if you haven't had it, it's going to be a good class. And if you've had it, then review it and you'll get the new pieces. So we still have time for a few questions and comments.
Is there a general essential oil that we can use in any circumstance for materialization breaths?
Well, it depends on what you're trying to do. So different oils do different things. But for psychological healing, this was good for like when people are being aggressive towards you, you know, when there's like sort of conflict. If you're doing something like trauma-oriented, like things like helichrysum would be really super good. You know, there's oils that are good for traumas. Like say if it's abandonment-oriented, for example, you know, there's the abandonment blend, but also a really good oil for abandonment that, you know, we don't really pay that much attention to is Davana. Davana is really super good for frankincense is actually quite good for abandonment as well. So it depends on what we're trying to treat. But when we go through and we lay it out, we'll have like kind of a little bit of a roadmap for you guys. Yeah, I think we're teaching it at the end of the third weekend, whenever I'm in Birmingham. I think it's like the third weekend, February. the 20th, 21st, something like that. No, it's the one after that, 27th, 28th. I don't know. I can't remember. Let me give the right dates before I go mouth off. 27th and 28th of February is going to be psychotherapy in Birmingham. Anybody want to share a comment? I mean, this is just a little tiny taste of what we're going to be doing, but you get the idea. Anybody would like to share?
Hi, Greg, it's Lucy.
Hey, Lucy, how are you?
I wanted to let you know that at work, they're vaccinating all their employees with the COVID, with the vaccine for COVID. Those that suffer from allergies are getting reactions. They're breaking out in hives. Some of them are passing out. There's a lot of stuff going on. Yeah, so they're recommending that those that take EpiPens and that suffer from allergies to be cautious when taking the shot. But they're kind of like trying to force the shot. I learned that if they don't give all the employees the shots, they're afraid that the Department of Health is going to take back the vaccine. There's a lot going on with this vaccine. And a lot of people they're taking it, and now they're talking, now they're talking about fertility issues and a whole bunch of stuff.
You're kidding. Oh, wow. That's a big one.
Yeah, it definitely is. I haven't taken the vaccine. I kind of was letting people know about the parsley baths and this and that. They got a little funny. You already know how doctors and everybody. So I just stood quiet, and I'm just sitting back for now, and I'm observing. There was a few cases that I was able to email to you so you can see. I don't know exactly what I'm looking for, but if there's anything that you need, let me know. Then I can see if I can pull that out so that you can.
I'll look at it. We had a meeting and they told me you had sent some stuff. I just haven't had a chance to look at it yet, but I'm anxious to look at it.
I sent a pregnant girl. I sent different age groups on how they affected them. I sent some that already had health issues. Like I said, if there's anything else you need that I don't know exactly what to look for, but if you let me, I'll look for it and I'll send it over.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Leslie.
You're welcome. Bye.
Somebody's wondering, do you remember the date you last taught psychotherapy? I don't remember it being taught last year, so I just...
it's been over a year. I think I only taught it a couple places. Sarasota was one of them, and
you taught it in Fairfield, but it was like at least 2 or 3 years ago.
There was one other place.
I think maybe Louisville. Maybe not.
Possible. Yeah, it's possible. Yeah.
And then Dorothy, your hand's up, and then we're almost pretty much at time.
Hey, Dorothy.
Hi, I just needed a little clarification on what we did tonight. So since we used 2 oils, was this a 2-step process? Say like okay. And then the situations, I just had a little difficulty, and I kept texting Sam, but did the situation have to be related to another person, or just any difficulties we're trying to?
Yeah, any difficulty.
Thank you. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, the reason why we did the second part with the tarragon or the whatever oil we used, part of what happens when you go through and you do the materialization breath is you're starting to cause or affect change. You're changing the situation, you're evolving the situation, you're moving it out of a dormant phase, and you're starting to evolve the situation. And so the body starts to have to go into what we call allostasis. And so what happens after you do, even if it's something just beautiful and wonderful you want to bring into your life, the body will actually resist it a bit. And the front line of that is tension in the smooth muscle of the digestive tract and the respiratory tract. And so this also hampers the ability to activate the upper centers. And it also hampers the ability to have consciousness leave the body. Like, you know, when you're sleeping and you're dreaming, when the smooth muscle is really super agitated, you don't really take off very much in the inner world. And so same with meditations. And so you're trying to connect to that unconscious to bring something forward. And, you know, here you're putting something forward, and then all of a sudden there starts to be a resistance. So what we're trying to do is systematically reduce the resistances so that your body goes into a phase of allostasis, which is, you know, it just adjusts and adapts, and then it goes back into maintaining balance. And so we're just trying to make it a little bit more fluid for that to happen, so that there's less resistance, less manifestation of, you know, psychosomatic symptoms, but also trying to reduce that 2 steps forward, 1 step back. You know, so it could be healing, it could be a relationship, it could, you know, it still could be business, it could be anything, but we are going to use variations of things that we've been doing in different classes, and we're going to apply them in some different ways and do some physical healing and psychological healing over the next 30 to 60 days. We're going to step up our game, so to speak.
When you mentioned the oils for this method for trauma and abandonment, is that instead of sage or tarragon, or for both of them?
Yeah, sage is not a really good one for, that's more like when people are being aggressive towards you and things like that. When you're doing for abandonment, you gotta use things like, you know, the abandonment blend or Davana, or at least frankincense.
And for the second part where you change to
you could use this, you could use the same thing for that one. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you could still use the tarragon or the anise or poplar or whatever you're using. Yeah, you're just trying to, there was a blend that I made a long time ago. I don't make it very often, but higher consciousness. And what it did was it calms down all the smooth muscle in the body, so that your upper faculties can like easily activate, and it becomes easier for you to have expansion out of your body in meditation. And for me, for a very long time, I didn't have expansion in meditation. I would feel calm and I would feel peaceful, but you know, people would have these really blissful meditations and they, you know, leave their body and all this, and I was just like I am right now, but with my eyes closed, you know. And so, you know, I tried to systematically figure out why that was happening. And a lot of it had to do with the smooth muscle in the body. And so when you calm that down, it allows for your nervous system to shift, and your consciousness is able to leave the body very easy. I mean, it makes you kind of spacey, because, you know, anxiety, some forms of anxiety are actually just tension in your gut and in your respiratory tract. That's all it is. You know, it has nothing to do with emotions. It has nothing to do with what's going on in the environment. It's just tension in the gut and in the respiratory tract.
So how would you treat that?
Yeah, you like with the oils that I was talking about, you go through, I use that blend, the higher consciousness, and I go through the sinus pattern and the digestive pattern, and that usually wipes it out.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And we are just about ready to go. I just thought I'd let you know, Greg, someone did post that they did get the shot and they've been studying it since March. They got it a week ago and have had no reactions.
Oh, good.
All good. And they have severe allergies. They have to carry the EpiPen and everything. So
good. Yeah, if you just prep for allergies, you should be okay with the vaccines. So sorry we have to go, but hopefully you can join us tomorrow night for the Free Astara study group. We're going to do some meditation and healing tomorrow. But if not, I will see you guys on the weekend for the Sacred Fire class. We'll be in Seattle. We'll see everybody in Seattle in person. Well, some people in Seattle in person.
Yeah.
So, okay, you guys, take care. Love you. Take care. Bye-bye.